I think like a backyard ultra. Um, Again, this is me like not trying to come off arrogant, but I think I could go get a world record in that. Do I want to?
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
How
but again,
far do
it's
you
like
think you could go?
I'm gonna go 500 plus miles. I mean, dude,
Oh my
it's like,
gosh.
I mean,
How much do
from
I? Name the check? How much do I have to write to see you give this a crack?
I probably look at halfway to six figures just to show up for it.
Okay.
So, got a brand that wants to pay that. I'll take a stab. But yeah, man, it's like, again, I'm not, call it arrogant, call it whatever it is. I just really believe in myself and that ability to just like get through stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Charlie Lawrence. Today, back on the Running Effect podcast. I'll try to keep this intro short so that you guys can enjoy the full substance of the man himself. But Charlie is one of the best road ultra runners ever, period. He ran 6 hours and 7 minutes, which was an official American record in the 100K distance, so just over 62 miles. And then he also ran 6 hours and 3 minutes at an Adidas event, also in the 100K, and that averages out to a 5:51 per mile for 62 miles. So this guy's a stud. Today we break down his training, his racing, his mindset, his fueling, what he eats in a week, what he trains in a week, what shoes he wears, his work with Adidas and developing some of their footwear. I love this conversation. I always enjoy my conversations with Charlie. He's a really smart and insightful guy, aside from his fast running on the roads, and really enjoyed this one. If you guys enjoyed as well, consider giving us a follow so that you don't miss more conversations like this in the future. Give us a 5-star review. It takes next to no time. And make sure you share the podcast with a friend if you enjoy it. That is the easiest way in which we can grow, and I'd greatly appreciate you doing that. And without further ado, enjoy this conversation. Get inspired by this conversation by this man, Charlie Lawrence. Ladies and gentlemen, sat across from me is an absolute legend. He came on the podcast in 2023 after breaking the American record in the 50 mile. If I'm not mistaken, he ran 4 hours, 48 minutes, 21 seconds there. And, you know, I stayed up to date with him. I feel like I'd see his name in the news every now and then. I can't fathom running 50 miles, let alone as fast as he did. And then not too long ago, the dude ran American record in the 100K, which is 62.1 miles. And I think the average pace that he ended up coming out with was 5:51. Charlie, I remember once, peak high school, like peak shape, I did a 10-mile tempo at 5:52. The thought of running 52 miles off of that, you know, I would have just dropped dead on the spot. So you're an absolute legend. I have a lot of respect for you. It's super fun to follow along your career. And I remember loving our conversation last time, so I wanted to get you back on. But congrats on the records, and welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you, man. Good to be back on. I know I'm running well when I get invites to the podcast. So, yeah, dude, stoked to chat again.
I try to get people on, like something I pride myself on is I try to get people on before they get big. Like Ethan Strand, that kid, I had him on when he placed like 8th at NCAA's. So he's like, anytime you call me, I'll always come on because you had me on before anyone. But it's really unpredictable in the sport to like know who's going to pop off, who's going to break through. Even if you follow someone on Strava, like training doesn't always correlate with big performances. You can leave your race in training.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough thing with that. It's like everything can go, even if like you're fully healthy, everything goes right in the build. Sometimes you might just not have the day. And yeah, I mean it's happened to me more times than I would have liked it to. I mean, I think 1 out of maybe 25 races I'm fully satisfied with. That's just kind of how it goes. So there's always something you think you could have done better, could have improved upon. That was kind of my story of 2024, truthfully. A lot of injuries, a lot of just trying to scrap for whatever I could. Too many races too soon. But yeah, it's kind of, it's, you know, cool when you can string them together and stuff, like you said, and you never know, because it's like, it could be on fire. Could be cold. Like the block might not be indicative of a great result because of a good result. The sport's weird like that. So
how do you even train for 62 miles at that pace?
Oh man, I'm still a marathoner by trade. I'll still do a fair amount of, I don't say VO2. I'll do that probably once a week. Or excuse me, minimum once every 2 weeks. But for me, it's just the big days. Like kind of my bread and butter is 25 at 5:35 pace here in Boulder. 5:35 to 5:45 depending on the day. So, and I'll shake out the afternoon to get at least 30 miles. This build was a little unique because I was actually getting ready for a 50K Worlds long story, Worlds got canceled or postponed because the AQI was over 400 in India. So I didn't necessarily have a massive like block before this, but was able to still get up to 140. Had a 40-mile run 27 days out from Desert Solstice, my 100K. So that was a big, just kind of, I don't say simulator, but it was like just go run hard for basically 4 hours time on feet. Average 6:02 for it. The goal going was like 6:10 to 6:15, but it's one of those days where it felt pretty good, was clicking, didn't necessarily want to go any faster. Um, so yeah, and it's you kind of pick and choose those big days, and you can't have too many big close together. Or but the rest of the time, I'm probably typical days, 15-5, 14-4. Day before sessions, I'll do strides for my second run. Typically bigger sessions, but even going back to the VO2 stuff, I try to keep that again at least once every 2 weeks, just to like make 540 pace, even marathon pace, try to feel as easy as possible. So kind of how I do it. Really nothing magical. Like my workouts aren't that impressive. I just do fairly heavy volume and fairly long reps, and pretty solid long runs. That's definitely the best part of my training. Or thing that would stick out the most is just being able to go run 20 plus basically at least once a week at 1 or 6 minute pace. So
I'm reading here you're in 1429 indoors in college. Again, I'm slow as hell, so this is not me hating on that time. You got me beat by a mile. I'd be probably coming through way behind you, but like that's not the type of time that I feel like the gap between that and then holding 551 pace for as long as you do is not normal. Have you gotten testing done, or like do you have any theories as to why you're so efficient at that like 550 to 6 minute range and you can just do it all day?
no, I mean I think I ran that my second year of college, which is good. And then I had basically was injured track season. Like kind of cross country was really my bread and butter in college, and that was just like go and grind, go beat people, and that's what I've always been good at. And throughout even high school to college, I didn't do it. Let's say I ran maybe peaked like 60 pre my senior in high school, but then like once I got to college, it was go run once a week on the weekends. So get, going into my first year, 12 at six flat, then going into my, second year, 16 at six flat, like at least once a week in the summer. And like that overall progression. And I only did singles in the summer in throughout college. And I really think just like building that aerobic base really helped a ton. I still do like strength and stuff, core in the afternoon, but even in college too, it was just like got to the point where Plaz would have me doing 18, 20. By the time my fifth year, I could do 22 at six flat pace. And I could just kind of progressive overload, progressively getting better and better and better. And Plaz is my college coach. Still kind of probably my number one advisor. Text him multiple times a week, just with life stuff, random stuff. One of my best friends. He was just really, really good with that. And he always said, one day you'll be pretty good on the roads, whatever that meant. Wasn't sure. Because for me, yeah, the track was just not my thing. Cross country was my bread and butter. Um, so and again, that's just grinding, and that's kind of all road ultras are. It's just like you just got to grind for a really, really, really long time, be uncomfortable for a really long time. It doesn't bite per se. You just feel kind of that slow burn, that slow death in your muscles, and especially for me personally, it's my quads that start to go and just the muscle fatigue. But if you can also just convince yourself to stick on it and you know 1 mile at a time versus 5K at a time, 10K at a time, just really, really break it down. Um, so yeah.
At the 50 mile 100K distances, that's kind of the ultra sphere, but it seems like you're doing most of these records on the roads versus the trails, like competing in those actual races. Do you view yourself purely as a road guy? Would you ever enter those kind of trail races, trail scene, or are you keeping it on the roads for now?
For now on the roads, if it makes sense financially in a couple years, 100%. Like wanna make the jump. I truthfully just at some point make the jump. But for me, I still have like it was the best and worst thing for me was getting the 50-mile world record my first time out because I'm like, this is easy. I'm gonna have the 50, the 100K, the 100 within the next couple years. And now we're a couple years down the road, and I've just gotten the American record at the 100K. Um, so for me, it's like I want to keep quote unquote the speed as much as I can before I try to jump to like a Western States. That's probably my biggest bucket list trail race. I don't see myself doing that for at least another 3 years. But I love to do that at some point. For me though, like I just train on the roads. That's what I do. So I'd have to definitely change up training, do some more technical work, do some more like aggressive downhills to build in this year for a race I'm running this summer. Um, but yeah, definitely there'd be some tweaks that I have to do, and I definitely want probably at least 8 to 12 months of pretty specific trail work just to even get ready for that. So eventually, but yeah, right now it's just a road guy marathoning up. So I still have love for the marathon. That's an event that I still think I have kind of untapped potential there. I mean, I'm not going to run a 208, 209, probably not even 210, but I can crack two teen lows, 212, 213 would be probably my physical peak. But again, it's like if I can run that 505 ish for 26 miles, I have the engine and the legs that I know I can probably help me run a better 50 mile, 100K, 100 mile. So,
Other question for you. I work with a brand, BPN, a big supplement company out of Austin, Texas. A lot of people know who they are. And they've recently started to do these, put on these races. I actually have a few questions for you off of this. One of them is a last man standing format race, which went super viral. It was awesome to see how it really boosted them. But after it, they did, I think this past like October and November, they called like Survive the Night Ultra, 50 miles. They have like their own ranch. I think it's like a 5 mile loop. So 5 mile loop times 10. And all love and respect to anyone who competed in that. It was a lottery system. They have such a big brand. A lot of people want to run in these races. Top two people to it got entries into this year's Last Man Standing. Um, I have a ton of respect for hybrid athlete types or people who are really good at both, or people who follow the brand and just want to run 50 miles. Selfishly, though, I come from a background where I grew up watching Edward Cheserek win 16 NCAA titles in the very competitive
yeah,
side
bro.
of the sport. I would love to see someone like you show up to one of those events and just throw down a 50 miler. Would you ever be open to like, because the thing with BPN is like anyone who gets associated with the brand, just blows up. There's a lot of like PR around that and a lot of tapping into a community that you probably aren't in. Serious runners know who you are, that space, but BPN, the more like general fitness community, you tap into a really interesting sphere. Have you thought about joining any of those or any of the more like publicity type races where you could probably get quite the boost from winning by about an hour?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't. Here's the thing. I don't do this for the followers. I do try to like
Sure.
be the best I can at the sport. And I'll say this too. I used to work with BPN. 2023, they were my supplement sponsor, so they were actually out at Tunnel Hill, where I broke the 50 mile world record. We're gonna do a
Wow.
documentary. Um, and then when it came to renegotiating, um, the numbers just weren't there. I'd gotten a verb on a number I was really excited on, came back and said, no, we're not going to give you that. So I'm like, all right, see ya. So nothing ever really came of it, sadly. So I think obviously one that would have helped the brand, not my brand, my personal brand. Hopefully that gives them a little push. But yeah, no, Nick's done a hell of a job. Awesome job building that. I mean, they have a massive, massive following. People would die for that brand, like they're
The Red Hat
fan.
Warriors.
So, yeah, awesome. Like again, they've done great. So nothing but respect and admiration for what they've built there. It just wasn't a fit moving forward after 2023. So would have been cool to see that documentary. I was like, Trevor Knoll, who's still with them, I believe, was out there shooting me for the full weekend. Really, really cool. Just again, didn't come to fruition. But going back to the races, yeah, not necessarily like a survive the night type thing. I think like a backyard ultra. Um, Again, this is me like not trying to come off arrogant, but I think I could go get a world record in that. Do I want to?
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but
How far
again,
do you
it's like,
think
dude,
you could go?
I'm gonna go 500 plus miles. I mean,
Oh
dude,
my
it's like,
gosh.
I mean,
How much
for
do I,
me,
how, name the check. How much do I have to write to see you give this a crack?
I probably look at halfway to six figures just to show up for
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So, got a brand that wants to pay that. I'll take a stab. But yeah, man, it's like again, I'm not call it arrogant, call it whatever it is. I just really believe in myself and that ability to just like get through stuff. I mean, I think the hardest part, man, you can get through 24 hours, so you get roughly 100 miles. Then I think it gets pretty damn hard. It's just like you just can't really sleep. It's like, but for me, it's like I have the engine to go run 7:30 pace, 8 minute pace, and that gives me, what it's 4 miles. Let's say on the hour, 8 minute pace for whatever it is, 4 or 5 miles, whatever it is. So I'll get 20 minutes or so to nap, fuel, and like that thing. You can run really slow. You can take your time. I'd feel pretty good about it, but I'm definitely a few years, 5+ years away from taking a stab at that. So,
Hey,
but I
if anyone wants to chip into this collection, I would love to see you do it. I mean, again, I love like the kid who won it last year. I don't know if you ended up watching BPN's like documentary of it. I was at the premiere; it was super cool. But it was like two 21-year-olds who no one knew. And Kim Gottwald, I think is how you say his last name. Got to channel my inner German to get his last name out. You know, he I think literally sold pairs of running shoes to afford the ticket to fly over, and he ends up like tying for the win, gets a BPN contract, his life changes. So I love it. I love Kim, great guy, like hilarious guy, really cool kid. But again, my background, serious running, and I just would love to see some studs like give it a crack. Like even like a Walmsley, I'd be so curious how well Walmsley could do in like a backyard ultra. I know he's growing up in age, but you're still young. I mean, you're 30, right? You got
There,
yeah, quite the career ahead of you. A lot of
yeah,
people don't even transition to the marathon until that age. So I'd just be
yeah,
curious
yeah,
to see what the best runners like who like can clearly go the distance have that engine. Because like Connor Mans, love Connor, but he's not doing anything in a backyard ultra. But there are specific figures like you that I'm like, oh, it seems like they could really give this a crack and go pretty far.
yeah. That's again Western States first for sure. I'm basically on the stepping up where judging. Yeah, like I still want to take a crack at a good marathon, but like again, if like I'd still think I got the 50 down, just worked out, but still got to get the 100K. Like still learning that distance. So like it's a 50 miles to me is so much different than 100K, even though it's only 20-ish K, 12.5 miles farther. Um, a lot can happen. Like 50 miles, you might be shot at 40, 42, but like you can get home in 8 miles and still bleed a lot of time, but still get there. In 100K, you got 20 more miles to go. Like that's a massive mental shift. And just your legs beyond 50, it's so different. And then obviously you take that to 100 miles. It's almost like a different sport, in my opinion. Even from like a marathon to 50 miles, it's like you can probably do marathon training up to maybe 35, 40 miles, but it's like at that point the muscle fatigue is just so different. Um, so yeah, I'm gradually working my way up. 4 days, 5 days, whatever it would be in a backyard ultra. That's a long time to go. Obviously, you can sleep, but yeah, just trying to take it one at a time here. But like you said, we got time 30. I think Jim's 35, 36. He still has definitely a few years. You got guys that are mid 40s still doing it at a pretty high level.
I touched on him last year. I think I actually just saw he signed a contract with Hoka. Hans Troyer, I think is his
Yeah.
name. He's a really cool guy, super down to earth. Had a cool story, had a cool energy about him. I like these figures. Like I'm there was a part last year on the podcast. I was really interested in talking to these people because it's a totally different sport. Like how you train, how you think. The people that are doing these 100 miles or these last man standings almost like have a completely different mindset and mentality than like I don't know, Josh Kerr, Drew Hunt. Like it's about like speed, and I appreciate both for completely different reasons. But it's the same act, but like it does feel like different sports, completely different sports.
Oh, vastly, man. It's literally just a complete, like even for me, the road ultra to the trail ultra, like so different. Again, I would have to change a lot in training. I mean, it's not a lot. Volume would probably honestly come down because in a way, it's like all the vert you'd have to do would almost make up for the miles I wasn't doing. So yeah, it's again, I am so far away from a 1500. Um, and just in terms of where my wheelhouse is. And I think those guys would say the same about even a marathon. But again, that's what they're good at versus what I specialize in. So
I don't know. Some people are delusional. Like you could probably run a 30-second 200 stride and be like, oh, like some people do that and they're like, oh, I could rip. And then some mile guys do a 5 mile tempo and it doesn't feel all that hard. And they're like, oh, I could do this for a marathon. So I think until you do it, uh, it's hard to make assumptions. And like even for me, I did 2 marathons last year, and it's like you just don't know how your body's going to hold up when it gets hard. It's like anyone can do anything when it's easy and it's clicking, and you're going to have that moment in the marathon where you're like, oh, I feel pretty good. But it's like when it gets hard and it keeps clicking, that your true fitness, your true mentality is tested. In relation to that, I'm curious, like for 100K, like at what point did that race or those races, the 607, 603, like generally when does it get hard in 100K?
um Dude, the two I did this year, the Adidas event, Chasing 100, and then my 100K Desert Solstice, both felt pretty bad pretty early, and that's not a fun feeling. I going back to Italy this summer, again, the Adidas Chase 100 event was a sick event. Was set up to break 6 hours. I got second, 6:03:47. Again, it's all unofficial. But that was pretty hard. Honestly, I had about 25 miles to a marathon. And at 50K, I'm like, this is gonna get bad like quick. Fortunately, it didn't like we had some awesome shoes to help us. We had fueling whenever we needed it. We had pacers. We had wagon pacing us, so that kind of helped me get to the finish. But it was still a positive split. It was like 2:59, basically 3:0, 3:04, 3:05. So it's like you're gonna at these distances basically who can die the least. Um, so that one got pretty hard pretty early, truthfully. Before 50K halfway, but at the time it's just like you just can't think about it, and you can start thinking about it and shit, I have 50K to go. Or it's like, all right, I just got to get through this next section, this next K, get my next bottle. And you can kind of just gaslight yourself into keep doing it. And then this one, Desert Solstice, it got pretty hard at 1 hour, 17 minutes in. I remember seeing the clock, it was on a track. And the reason it got hard was because I strained my glute this fall. Actually lifting a little too heavy, a little heavier than I should have been at least. Doing a back squat, came down and like started go up, and I just kind of shifted and ended up straining my left glute. So um it had gotten better. I got some like lidocaine injections, kind of numb it, reset it, some shockwave, needles, all that, and it helped let me kind of train. It would kind of flare up over intense long sessions or like especially track sessions, being inside turn. So yeah, even like hour 17, I saw the clock at Desert Solstice, and I was like, my hip was hurting. I was definitely compensating a little bit, trying to protect it. And I'm like, bro, like you got 4 hours and 45 minutes basically left of this. But it was again the same thing. It was on a track, so like just one lap at a time, one lap at a time. I was truthfully thinking about pulling the plug. But for me, it's just like you can't think about really the distance. Think about what you have in front of you. Whether it's you have a bottle. In Arizona, we had to practice, not practice, had a ton of cooling protocol. So cooling collars, dumping water on myself, you name it. So it was like, all right, just like stay cool. That'll help. Honestly, I had friends there, and I was like, give me some Tylenol. Need Tylenol ASAP. So I ripped 4 Tylenol throughout the race, which definitely helped the hip. Which direction after 4 hours? So even for me, instead of thinking about like, all right, I have 4.5 hours to go or 4 hours 45 minutes, like just get to the turnaround at like 2 hours 45 minutes, and they'll take some release off your hip. So, long answer to your short question, but they definitely get harder earlier than you'd like them to, and both within the first half of the race, like this is getting harder than I do. But it's just you just kind of accept where you're at, the feeling in your legs, and it's like you can kind of again gaslight yourself, just keep going and keep rolling.
What separates you from most people? Most people, pain is a signal. They stop when they feel pain. They slow up when they feel pain. Um, Me, myself, and I. There's no way I'm running another 4 hours 45 minutes after feeling in pain. Do you think you have crazy pain tolerance? Do you think you've just like learned to train your body to keep going when you feel pain? Like what's your secret sauce there?
A little bit of both. I mean, we were testing going back to the summer when we were formulating the shoe for the Chasing 100 event in Italy with Adidas, the prototype pair of Evo Prime X's. And I've always known I've had a pretty high pain tolerance, but like we were doing these heat chamber sessions, so like 2 hours at 5:45 pace in 90% humidity, 75, 80 degrees, pretty brutal. And these prototype shoes were just absolutely just ripping into my Achilles, into my heel, and I know ultimately bled through the shoe. But I was just like telling myself, oh, it's not that bad, don't worry about it. So that's kind of just even though it sucks, it hurts. Just like you're trying to like, nah, it does, like focus on something else, or focus on again the next lap, the next minute on the treadmill, the next mile, the next bottle, whatever it is. Um, and yeah, I think it's just again just telling yourself that it's not. It sounds really stupid. That's not that bad. Like I got myself in trouble before, and even now I'm kind of dealing with my hip. Um, it's just still kind of pissed off from it. It's like again, I can do the work that's necessary right now. I mean, I'm still a month removed, so I'm still semi recovering. Like faster stuff kind of flares it up, but for me, it's just there's always something that's kind of bothering me with the volume and training I do. So especially when it comes up at races, it's just like knowing that I just believe myself enough that even if it's not that bad, I'm not dying. Like I can probably push through it. And like you kind of know like when it's something super, super serious and you should stop. And until I hit that point, I'm probably gonna keep going. So like me bleeding through a shoe or my hip really, really hurting, as long as I don't think it's, I'm gonna miss an exponential amount of time after, or I can push through it or just, convince myself it'll feel better at a certain point. Um, yeah, I think that kind of gets me through. But yeah, the Adidas team's like, dude, your pain tolerance is actually stupid with how cut up your feet are. Um, and just my Achilles are just bloated. The shoe was just red. It was
Wow.
pretty running through. Sock was all soaked. Um, yeah, it was pretty gross. And the Adidas team was kind of freaking out because we had another run like that next night, kind of doing a test run. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'll be good. We'll just bandage it up. So
Crazy, man. Do you take time off between, like, it sounds like you're getting back into things, but do you take time off at all after races or no?
yeah, the last couple post Italy, I took, people laugh. I took 3 days off, 0 days, and then got back to jogging. This is like psychopath stuff, but I typically like to shake out the day after races. But my feet have been just so shredded after these ultras that like it's almost that's where like my pain tolerance is a good question. It's like I don't want to go like put myself through a 2 mile shakeout, 3 mile shakeout on just bloodied up feet, cut up feet, blown out toenails. So I took 4 days, well, 3 days after Italy, 4 days after Desert Solstice, sort of just jogging. And for me, I think just like throughout literally high school, college, just the amount of volume I've done, like even this past year, 2 years, even when I was injured in 2022, which is heavy, heavy volume aerobic work. And for me, it's like I'm typically used to being pretty under fatigue. That when I just give my body only a few days, bounces back pretty quickly. So that's been nice. And I have the same diet, eat the same thing every single day. I know how my body recovers off it, how it feels for my second run. So for me, it's just getting back into that routine, sleeping a lot, um, eating a lot. Like my metabolism is rolling for 5 to 7 days after. So it's like when you are hungry, like get the calories in, heavy protein. I've just kind of through that and gotten it dialed over the last, 3 years of my running career. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't feel good by any means, like, a week after, 2 weeks after, but it's like the more blood I can flush through just by running easy. Again, not far. Like, I think my farthest run within 2 weeks was 8 miles. So, like, an easy, really easy hour. Um, that just helps honestly break up the junk and flush stuff out. So, even being now we're 27 days removed. Again, I think I'm fully recovered, but again, my hip is still a little bit there. So it's now we'll kind of focus on that. Um, so yeah, recovery again. It's just for me, it's just routine, and my nutrition is pretty dialed with what I need and what I need to recover. So
Assuming you're healthy, all things are running, how many miles a week are you running?
peak 150 or
Okay.
so. Hit 155, getting ready for the Nardo event. That month of July was I hit over 600 miles in July. It was basically a week of 155, 150, 145, 140. And then that was like 3 weeks out, or like 130, 135 to 140 on that fourth week. Um, and basically what like happened though, like I put myself in such a hole. Like 3 weeks out from Italy, I did a workout. It's supposed to be 6 mile, 2 mile push, 6 miles, with mile floats. And dude, I couldn't run 5:30 pace. Like I did the first six, did a push for a mile, stopped, did a longer, like slow jog, tried another like 6 miles, started it, and like I couldn't break 5:30 for save my life, and I couldn't break 5 minutes on the push. So I'm just like, I was like, I probably put myself in a hole too. Like I might have just ruined my race, but again, it's like I have that volume behind me. If I just give myself enough recovery time and taper properly, body typically feels pretty good. And it came around again, 6:03:47. Not the day not a great day, a good day nonetheless. So, um, yeah. So peak heavy volume. I think my sweet spot is probably 135 to 140. I can still get really high quality and still probably like hit the majority of the splits I'd like to hit during sessions. But peak, yeah, it peaked at 155. But yeah, peak probably, I probably won't go up to like, I think 145 to 150 max for maybe a couple weeks maximum. So,
Take me through the moment when that workout happens. Like you throw your shirt on the ground, you pissed and mopey the rest of the day, or like what's your disposition in a moment like that?
oh yeah, I was a miserable human being. Yeah. My dad was in town visiting. Um, And I remember like, yeah, I mean, like this first 6 mile rep was okay. I was trying to hit, 5 teens. Like I hit like 520 low, which again, like that's not bad running. It just felt terrible. I felt like I was running 5 minute pace. And then like I said, cut the 2 mile rep to a mile, then jogged a mile versus floating at 6 minute pace, and just tried again. And like instantly, just stopped. Like I was actually wearing a pair of of Adidas prototypes, and I just like literally, I'm far from my car. I just take them, like rip them off, and just like spike them to the ground, gronk them. And my dad's like, "Chill out." I'm like, "No, that was just swearing. I'm mad." Um, and he's like, "Yeah, you're just tired." Like saying what a dad would say in that moment. So Allison, my girlfriend, was out there, and she had just like popped by, and she's like, had a Coke or something, like maybe low calories. I'm like, I don't need that shit. Like, get that out of here. Like, when usually I'm like craving that after throwing in all the nutrition stuff I'm doing. I'm like, maybe I messed up my nutrition, but dude, I was just tired. So I just honestly went about my day. I think I lift on a workout day, so I lifted. Then I took out some aggression there, and then just went for an easy shakeout. Honestly, I gave myself an extra like one easy day in between, so I took 3 days of like I don't know, I think I went like 16, 12 and 4, another 12 and 4, and then another like 14 single strides. Then had a great workout. Then 4 days later, so it's like, all right, it's don't overthink it, move on. But yeah, I'm like when I have a good workout, I'm in a much better mood the rest of the day. So kind of living it sometimes.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? We
Yeah,
all care about the sport a little too much. I think you have to be a little psychotic to be as good as you are, and if you don't care about it, like I earlier today, do you know Marco Langen?
of course,
Yeah,
dude.
I had him on the podcast. Best podcast. Listen, like that guy is like the most entertaining. Um, he's just so funny. But the funny thing is, he's not trying to be fun. Like he's dead serious when he's saying this stuff.
That
And
and yeah, dude, his interview on Let's Run after the BU race, bro, bro, I've ever seen. I love that so much. And I don't know Marco. After that, I'm a massive fan of his, just purely because of that. It's great for the sport. I don't care what people say. Like we need more of that shit. That's like one thing I like about the sport is like, oh, we need personalities, we need this, but then you give a Marco, you give him just like a hot headed line. Everyone's like, you know, he's an a hole. It's like, all right, like you can't win in this sport. So, Marco doesn't care. From my impression, I don't think he cares,
no,
which I
not at all.
great.
Yeah, I mean this quote. I pulled this quote for like a graphic we're gonna make. Such a good down to earth guy. He said, "quote I need to make money, make sure me, my mom, and my sister stay afloat. Performances are gonna allow me to get more money in my contract. Can't wake up and say I'm gonna skip an easy run because that shit seeps into your head. If you skip an easy run, maybe you don't go the distance in the race. That just means winning isn't everything to you. And to me, I can't afford to lose a national title like that." Just
Yeah,
like
man. I mean, dude, like if
so
he
raw.
wins, yeah, dude. I mean, if he wins a national title, like, dude, he just probably locked up another, you know, well into five figures on top of an already pretty nice base for whatever he wants to do post collegiately. Like, that's the thing too. It's like like for me, you run faster, you get paid more. Like you break these records, you get paid more. Like if I would have broken 6 hours, I'd have gotten paid a lot more. Like that's how this sport works. So you kind of live and die by it. And for me, it's Marco wants to make it his full time career. He has the ability to, the talent to. For me, it's like I've been fortunate enough to get to that point in my career. Like, yeah, you run faster, you get paid more. Like you got bills. Like like you want to take care of people around you, and you do it at a high enough level. Yeah, you can again take care of everyone else around you, which is great. So
For you, I was gonna ask you this question. Like when you're running that many miles a week, what is your nutrition like? How many calories you eat in a day?
so I don't count calories. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I just eat the same thing. So pre-run will be like uh bagel, nut butter, honey, um, pour over coffee. I'll do my same smoothie after my run, which is pretty light. It's just banana, almond milk, blueberries, spinach, 2 scoops of whey protein, collagen, beta alanine. Again, it's pretty light. But I know like how it sits. I'll go do like my ancillary stuff, whatever that is, core mobility. Lunch is the same thing. Cranberry apple tuna salad from Whole Foods with an apple. If I have a second run, I'll usually do like an oat bar, whether it's a Cadence bar, a Morton bar, whatever I got in hand. Second run, few hours later after that, and then dinner's carbs, like heavy carbs, high quality protein, and then a veggie. So just check those boxes. And then before bed will be granola with some Greek yogurt. But for workout days, I'll stack it like with breakfast, having probably an extra 80 grams of carbohydrates, probably have a little more caffeine. Depending what else. Then I'll do, 150, 160 grams of carbs an hour during that session. So again, just even in a session, I'll be having at least, if it's a 2 hour session, that's at least an extra 300 grams of carbohydrates just session alone. Again, I couldn't tell you in my macros are 3,000. I mean, my dinners are pretty big because I'm probably later than I should be early on, but I make up for it later on in the day and just kind of reset. And again, I know how my body recovers off of that diet. So, and I think with me too, with that fueling, I'm pretty efficient with all of it, which is nice. Again, I could definitely eat more, but I'm just efficient. I know how to recover and I fuel the work I'm doing. Like even after today, I felt a little sluggish coming off my trip. So I had an extra like just easy with my smoothie. Had an extra thing of like more than 320, just like 80 grams of carbs right to the dome, like with that, just because I felt a little sluggish on my run. Probably didn't eat enough yesterday traveling. Um, so
For you during these big record attempts, what does that feeling look like? Like, how are you making sure you're getting in carbs for 6 hours while not upsetting the stomach?
yeah, it's the last I would tell you I've had it all figured out. Then the last two runs I've had bathroom stops. And I think that could come with like me fueling more throughout it. Like in Italy, this is where it got bad. I had 5 bathroom stops, still ran 6:03. I had one in Phoenix, and that was at like 51 miles. And for me, like I was as of recent, like last year, I was feeling, or earlier this year, I was doing about 135, 140 grams of carbs an hour. And then through my testing with Adidas and Morton this summer, they're like, well, to make sure you don't bonk throughout the course of 100K, um, I think it'd be best to go like 160 based on sweat rate, based on just like total caloric loss and what I need to replace it with. They're like, if you can do 160, that'd be ideal and you're not going to bonk. So that's what I started training at. So yeah, throughout big days of like, training, I'll practice 160. What I probably should have done in races was go like 160 for the first 3 hours and probably down to like 120 to 130. And I still would have been okay. Through like the last test, they figured out if I did 110 grams an hour, I'd still be basically at zero at 6 hours. But I don't want to risk that. So I pushed it up. I was doing like the last couple races, it was just more than 320 drink mix, then going back to a bottle with electrolytes in it, with a 40-gram gel taped to it. So I just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And kind of towards the last couple hours, if I didn't want liquid, I go gel or vice versa. And maybe not finish the full bottle, 80 grams of carbohydrates. But yeah, doing 160 grams of carbs an hour is what I average. So pretty heavy fueling, pretty high for a runner. Um, like the last thing I want to be low on is fuel, and I want to have that on board. So, but again, like the last two races doing that, I've had bathroom stops. It's kind of hard to prevent that when you're running for 6 hours straight. Um, but at the same time, it's like, you know, probably down to back 145, 140. Probably might be the move moving forward. So yeah, definitely pretty heavy on the carbohydrates. But again, I don't want to bonk, so that's a miserable feeling. Done that a lot in the past before I like properly fueled my training and racing. So one way to prevent that is fairly high carb fueling.
You mentioned 2 responses ago, some tuna something from Whole Foods. I, to this day, think one of the best sponsorships you could have is Whole Foods. I'm chasing the Whole Foods bag. I would,
Yeah,
I would, I would sign such a low dollar amount just to have like Chipotle does like the gold cards. If someone gave me
yeah,
I'd be spending Charlie like $300 per Whole Foods haul. It gets expensive, man.
yeah. I mean, dude, just for that, like, and that's one thing too in the sport where we haven't seen like a major player like a Whole Foods. I mean, I forgot someone who's a sprinter got like a Walmart, had a Walmart singlet. But like if runners can start tapping into that, that'd be huge. I mean, for me, it's like I have this cranberry apple tuna salad every day. Sometimes I'll have their Sonoma chicken salad because they both sit well enough. Like for me, for my second run, like I can go run, 4 to 6 miles really easy on that. Yeah, that'd be not a dream sponsorship, but like it'd be just as beneficial as like my Adidas deal. Like
Right.
you need your apparel, like you also need to fuel. So, and that's for me, I eat again the same diet, but it's like that's for me just fuel or eating is at least a couple $100 a week, at least, like even if it's just like a free card, like it's not necessarily making you money, but saving you money, which is beneficial. but it's also like a Whole Foods. If you're like, yo,
I
I
think
want,
it's the swagger, dude. That you walk in, humans love like I don't know. It's the swagger that you could walk in that store and like let's say within reason they put a cap like $1,000 per visit, but like you could buy whatever you want, and that
yeah,
I think the feeling from that would go harder than the feeling of like a wire hitting if it was like an actual deal and you still had to buy your groceries.
yeah. I mean, that'd be awesome. And I think one angle too that's like I definitely have thought of, like, I'm still trying to get a hairspray deal. I'd love that. Like, this is too much hairspray in this, but like, like a Tresemme or just like, a Walmart, or probably more so like the Tresemme, the beauty scene. Like, they bring on these massive, massive celebrities. I'm taking a tangent here, so I apologize, Dom. But
Oh,
like,
go for it.
Tresemme brings on a Sydney Sweeney, Kardashian or something. Like, they're asking for well into six figures just for a post or something. It's like you get me in there, being like, yo, just give me a few grand like a month, for this next year. Like, they might not bat an eye. It's just like you just got to know the right people. And you have like a Whole Foods, like, yeah, I want $1,000 worth of groceries, and I also want X amount on top. And again, I don't know what celebrity deals Whole Foods does, or if they do anything like that, but it's like they probably won't. If it's the right scenario, they might not even bat an eye. So, but yeah, to your point, would be a sick sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about finding the right person at the company. Like I've talked to companies, someone will say we have no budget, and then you talk to someone else and they're like, "Oh yeah, totally. We'd love to work with you." And it's like, who where's the disconnect happening here? And you just I'm sure you know this because you've worked with tons of people over the years. You know who to trust and you know not who to trust, and you get this sense, you develop this business acumen where sometimes when you hear a no from someone, okay, who this isn't a no to the brand. I just got to find the right inroads. Because there are people who are willing to take a chance. And I mean, the money in some of these brands is crazy. Like I won't name a name, but I know of a person. I heard this from a teammate, but they were in the track and field world, and it was a company flying them out to the U.S. Open, and literally just for that few, like one being flown out to the U.S. Open for tennis, super sick. But on top
Yeah.
of that, apparently he got paid over $100,000 just to be at the event with them. I think he may have done a campaign or something, but it's like, man, whatever he's on, that's and it's a major brand. I can tell you about it off air. Uh,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just like, oh man, it's crazy, crazy. I mean, he deserves it. He's got a massive following. He's a good guy, but yeah, it's all about knowing the right people. And like you said, like, yeah, any company that, I mean, Sydney Sweeney, whatever her weird bathwater deal was, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I think I saw it
Had to be
on X.
seven figures, dude. These people
Uh,
are, yeah, or her American Eagle ad. There's no way that wasn't. Or what they do is like Alex Earl, instead of like being paid for her poppy deal, she just asked for equity and they gave it to her. So it's like you can
yeah.
also get really creative.
Yeah. And honestly, like, do you know who owns Poppy? Did they get bought up by like a Coca-Cola or something?
I think they did. Yeah, I thought they had like a
Yeah.
couple $1 billion valuation.
That's, I don't, even if you get, don't quote me, a percent. I mean, that's a lot, but it's like, that's where we're play your cards right, where was I going to go with this? Um, oh
Real
yeah.
quick
Yeah.
off of that, have you seen Jake Paul's investor profile?
Stupid.
Yeah,
Incredible. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
invested at Olipop at like 200 million. They're 5 billion valuation right now. Or I don't
Yeah.
know why, but he he invests with Andriel, who's actually, I think they're based out of Columbus. It's like one of the biggest defense contracting companies, and they're like their numbers have like gone crazy. He's one of the. I laughed at this. He fights Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua at wins, has this massive poly market like chain on him. Jake Paul is like like seed round investor of poly market. Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Dude, people give Jake a lot of shit. Jake's a
I love
genius.
Jake. I
Like,
love Jake.
yeah, like again, you can hate on him. Like, just take the political shit out of it. Like, the dude is a marketing genius, and his portfolio is insane. Yeah, nothing but respect for Jake Paul. And even Logan. Again, they've hate him, love him. Like, they've built a hell of a brand. Again, they're living life, man. So, um, yeah, another just like, echo the point you made too, where you're like, yeah, it depends who you know at a company. Like, I've had reached out to like the athlete directors or global directors like of athletes that do the athlete contracts at a brand. And it's like, and they're like, yeah, we're tapped or whatever. And it's, but you talk to someone from marketing from that brand, just in like marketing campaigns, whatever it is, and they have cash. It's like you can work. There's definitely angles. Again, it's like we'd all love an athlete contract, but um, sometimes there's other angles to work with brands like like a Brooks has a different marketing budget than they pay that they pull from a Des, a Josh, the Beast, Hansons per se. It's
Oh,
like,
even within Brooks, that example, I work with marketing on event marketing for me, but then also sometimes I'll do like more like influencer type stuff with their PR team. Shout out Casey if you're listening. Love that guy. He listens to the podcast. Love Casey. Casey will have a different budget than marketing will have. And it's just like completely, it feels like two different companies. It's
yeah,
fascinating.
yeah. So if, that's like, so again, it's hard to get in, right? But it's like there's different avenues than just emailing, Adidas, my guy is Spencer. Like, don't get me wrong, like that's who I go to if I need something. But like, there's also Adidas, just pure marketing. There's Adidas influencers. There's all kinds of budgets that you can pull from. Like even, for booking some travel for me, sometimes it'll pull from innovation, it'll pull from marketing, you name it. So you can definitely get creative. Again, easier said than done, right? But like, uh, yeah, just definitely wanted to highlight that because that was a great point that you made.
Well, I know what company you're talking about, but I don't use it, so I don't know how to pronounce it. Tiramisu, not tiramisu. That's the food. The hairspray company. Say it again. Yeah, that. I don't know why I call it tiramisu. Someone's gonna clip that. That's okay. I ain't go to college, so I don't know I don't know what I'm talking about. The executives listening, hit up Charlie. What's fascinating with those companies is I think they almost all work with agencies. Like I did a deal with Degree early 2024, so wow, 2 years ago. And that was like all through an agency. And I have friends, even saw someone on social media post about Viore. It seems like Viore makes really cool clothes. Seems like they have a big budget. So I've been trying to connect with them, and I'm like, oh, who was your contact? And he was like, oh, some agency. So what gets really tricky is when brands just like offload to agencies, because that's like a hard world to tap into.
Yeah. Another angle I forgot to is, yeah, a lot of them just outsource, so, they're paying a lot for this agency to do, that side. But yeah, again, it's like you have a good following, you have a good brand, you still might, again, that could be another angle you take. So
How do you view running fast with also having a social profile? It's kind of rare that runners have both. A lot of people try to have both. Very few are successful at it.
yeah, it's hard, man. I mean, again, I'm not an influencer. I've had calls with brands that thought I was an influencer, didn't necessarily know, they didn't come from the running side. So they like, they think record holder and what that rate costs or whatever. They're like, well, based on your following, we'd only pay you this. And I'm like, well, again, I'm not an influencer. I'm an athlete. Dude, it's hard. Like this day and age is hard. Like there's always going to be at this point some component of social media obligations. And for me, it's just really being clear on what I'm gonna post about and what they're gonna use me for. And I think I actually had this like conversation today with a friend, or we were voice memoing earlier, just about like the line of like, the following, what are you gonna do for the brand, but also too, it's like comes down to what is the brand gonna do for you and how is the brand gonna help elevate you? Because when you have a Nike, an Adidas, a brand like that, like you have Adidas has some of the best athletes in the world. Same with the Nike. But like again, you look at like a Yomif Kajelka, like he doesn't really care about social media. He gets paid to run. But also too, it's like Adidas can leverage him, promote him, his wins, all his races, and also grow him. So it's kind of that give and take. Um, that might have been honestly a bad example, but for me, it's like I definitely like don't try to ride that line of influence. Don't get me wrong, I do have like with Stride Running, shout out to them. I just got a multi-year contract with them. They've taken awesome care of me. And they're like, we're really bullish on YouTube. We want to obviously work with you. Would you do a YouTube a month, per your, can we work that in your contract? I'm like, yes, I'm not an influencer, but if you love it, easy to do an integration, show how I use your product, all that. So there's also ways to, I don't say workarounds, but kind of have the best of both worlds. But again, it has to be something that you're comfortable with, um, and make sure they're like, make it worth your time as an athlete, and make sure you're, if they want you to hit X or X deliverables, like my price goes up like this, so, and some brands won't do that. So you have to be able to walk away, and it's hard to walk away from a brand in the sport because that's how we keep our jobs. It's how we do this full time. But for me, I've said this before, I'd rather have no deal than a shit deal, because I've had kind of shit deals before, and that's not fun. Um, so for me, it's like hit the deliverables, meet the deliverables, send the invoice. Hopefully everyone's happy. If they ask for anything more and you're not contractually obligated to do it, you don't have to do it. But again, there are also brands like Adidas, for example. They take good care of me. If they need something that's necessarily not in my contract, but they've definitely gone beyond for me. I'm happy to do an event for them. Like this most recent one, I just got back from yesterday, was not in my contract, but hey, I get to go demo a shoe, do a podcast with Running Warehouse, talk about the Evo Prime X coming to retail soon. It's like, it's a no brainer. Like they're gonna like Running Warehouse will post about me. Adidas will promote it. It's also good for my brand. So then you also get in the, could gain more followers, do this, so it's a balance. I know, again, long answer to your short question, Dom, but yeah, it's a weird line nowadays. So, but I just try to always make it very, very clear that I'm going to be first. And hopefully I perform well enough where then that gives you marketing materials to work with to also help your brand. Like it'll probably boost my brand if it gets a lot of traction in its marketing.
Yeah, I think one of the best examples from like an Adidas is like Yomif is signed 100% for him to run fast, for him to win, so they can put on a billboard or a campaign or something. They're not selling any shoes from him posting on social media. I don't even know if he's on Instagram, quite frankly. That's literally how not well known he is. But on
Yeah.
the other hand, like a Tin Man a couple years back when they sponsored them, 180. I don't think they were expecting those guys to go win global medals or even necessarily make global championships, even though that was the goal. But I would honestly debatably say those guys probably sold more shoes than Yomif. But different, it's going to look better in a brief or online or in runners world that they have Yomif and he's done XYZ in an XYZ shoe. So above my pay grade, I'm not in these marketing boardrooms, but I think from a company perspective, it's tapping all of it. You want performance, you want people who are good with hobby joggers, you want people who can hit the nurses who buy shoes, you want, so these running shoe companies are massive, and the more that I've gotten to know people within them, it's honestly quite impressive how they run and operate.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's so many different, like I said, purposes. Just for like where you asked me, it's like, yeah, I was brought on to try to break 6 hours. But again, I break 6 hours, I get compensated exponentially more, or get this American record, world title, you name it. Whereas like going back to the Tim Man example, that's great. Again, those guys are like they have potential to be on the world stage for sure, but it's like they built such an awesome following. That's like, yo, these guys are, we're rocking, Adidas stuff. Like it's the kind of living the dream, chasing it in Boulder, telling the story. Um, again, like I wouldn't again like Reed, Drew, they have Sam, they've all run fantastic. They've all run fantastic. Again, not to the level of like a Yo Meef, and that's not a slight at those guys, but it's like they've definitely moved more product. So it's again diversifying within that, and they're also again they're all great athletes, and they're definitely probably selling, like you said, more product than like a Yo Meef. And it's how does the brand view that, and how do they pick and choose and help ultimately try to grow their brand. So
Charlie, final question for you. What do you got? What do you got coming up? And what can people who are fans of you look forward to?
yeah, we've got Mesa Half next month, actually 4 weeks away. So no pressure. I could run 63 minutes, could run 66 minutes. No idea what I'm going to run. And then trying to figure out March, some announcement coming soon on April, and then Comrades in June. That's the first half of the year. So still got to figure out kind of the back half. World Championships got announced for September. So we'll see. That's 100K World Champ. So should have an auto spot with my American record, 50-mile world record. So that's probably the move post Comrades, but again, pretty back to back, going from like a June to a September for an ultra. So we'll see. Still kind of TBD. Obviously, got to still get selected for that team. Would also like to go back to Tunnel Hill, maybe, where I got my 50, do either 50-mile there or something. We'll see. So, but short term, Mesa Half. We'll see what I can do. Again, low pressure. I mean, I don't get paid to run half marathon, so just go have fun.
Final question. What's the final takeaway message for the audience today? Leave them with
Oh
something.
man, yeah, I think just keep chasing it, keep doing your thing, keep checking the box the best you can every single day. Don't worry about like, Don't worry about what you have tomorrow, the next day in training, whatever it is. If you're a runner or just in general in life, worry about what you got on your plate right now. Do the best you can. On to the next one, and just enjoy it. Have fun. Get the miles in. So hopefully that's decent advice right there.
Charlie, always appreciate you taking the time. Congrats on all the recent success and accomplishments. I will not wait another 3 years to get you on the podcast. And yeah, man, stoked to follow your 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Dom. Always appreciate it.